Welcome to a brand new episode. It's so great to see you again. If you're new here, welcome to the conversation. You're listening to The Priming by Ibalai Studios. The Priming is a safe space for creatives to talk about their lived experiences in the process of creating art. So here's the thing. You walk into an art gallery, and the first thing you see is a piece of art that you really don't know what to make of it. What do? You walk away, or maybe you decide to stay by and have a closer look at it. When you stay and have a closer look at it, you try to make something out of it to understand what it is, or just to have some views on it. So basically, I just watched a video today, a scientific video on what happens. Something happens to the brain when we observe art, and the scientists figured out that it's mostly two things that happen in the brain when you're looking at a piece of art. The first thing that comes is familiarity. You try to identify specific things in the piece. Maybe it's the subject, trying to figure if it's someone or a specific setting. Then the second thing, you try to understand how you feel about it. So on the first part, the familiarity part, most people, it's a give or take. But on the feeling, that's something that has to happen, whether you notice it or not. And basically, personally, as an artist, when I look at a piece of art that's been created by someone else, I usually don't even think about the person who created it. Mostly I just dwell on the piece. Then at the very end, if I have questions or concerns or maybe specific interests on the same piece, that's when I start thinking about the person who actually made that piece of art, and I just wish I could have a conversation with them and just get to know their perspective on their work. But even so, when I get the chance to talk to them and get to hear what they have to say about their work, that should not influence how I perceive the work, because the art and the artist are two different things. I know most people would argue that the artist and the art is one thing because the artist leaves some part of themselves in the artwork, and they share the essence in the artwork. But at the same time, the essence that they share in the artwork actually starts to take a life of its own, very independent from the person that the artist is. And as much as we should not separate the two, the art and the artist, we should be able to perceive them separately, because they are two different entities existing together. I know I've started sounding like some conspiracy, but that's actually true. And it's a very thin line that you can get to draw between the art and the artist. I like to think of it like a sandwich. If you separate the components of a sandwich, it's no longer a sandwich. It's this and that. And it's the same thing with the art and the artist. So when you take a bite of your sandwich, you'll know when it's not a complete sandwich, and you'll know when it is a complete sandwich. But then at the same time, you'll know if one thing is you can differentiate the taste between the two, but the combination is what makes it a sandwich. So I like to think that the art and the artist, when they're combined together, they form a sandwich called art. And basically that's their essence. That's what they breathe. That's what they eat. That's what they think. That's what they talk and everything. So as an artist, the best thing you can do to your art is start living a life of art. You do everything you do is in line with what you create, so that you can be able to get inspiration from the lived life that you're experiencing and be able to put that into your work, so that the work can actually have value to you, and in that way eventually it will serve its purpose and go forth and inspire outside there. Let's keep the conversation going on all social media platforms. Use the hashtag This is the Priming Taggers at Ibalai Studios. And you can get all the episodes of the Priming on anywhere you get your podcast. Just make sure you download and get to listen to them. Yeah, and share with your friends. Thanks for tuning in, and this is the Priming.